Sahana Vavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Saviryang Karavavai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vivishavai Sahana Vavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Saviryang Karavavai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vivishavai Om Shanti Om. And with your exhale, you may bow your head to your heart. Release your hands and please open your eyes. Great. So we're going to begin with a seated twist from this position where we get to know sort of like what's happening in the lower region of the body today. So when you're sitting upright, you can put it so that you have one heel and then the second heel lined up with the pubic bone, so the knees are wider. And then please cross your left hand to your right knee and take a block with you as you twist over to your right. The block makes the floor about the same level as your hips since you're on a blanket. If you don't need the block, by all means, no need to use it. And so as you're twisting to your right, gaze over your right shoulder. Now, even though you're twisting to your right, I'm going to ask you to sense the breath in the back hemisphere of your body, and especially on the left side. And try to imagine the breath is like a little submarine. It gets to go down into the ocean of the lower body and to have some research, maybe some joyful discoveries, and also maybe some tender discoveries. And one more time, breathe in into the left lower back. And then as you exhale, come around to face forward. Shift your ankle so the other one is in front. Cross your right hand to your left knee and take a block with you if you're using one to twist to your left. And though we are turning the heart and the head and the eyes, you can close your eyes and put your awareness into the right lower back, right lower belly, the side of your waist. And Susie can go to Christine's video as a model. Thank you. So what we're doing here in the twist is trying to keep the torso centered, as Christine is doing. So we're revolving around the central axis of the spine with the breath in the right low to mid back. You might almost think of the breath there as you go down in your submarine. You're in the ocean and you're going to explore something in the sort of western hemisphere of the ocean of the body. And then as you exhale, please come around to face forward. And so you've got a little bit of information to start. Let's come up to standing because getting your body warmed up for twisting poses, like the warmer you are, the easier the twists are going to be. So please rise up to standing and come into one of my favorite positions to start you guys in. It's called the jazz dance warm-up pose, like this. Right? So place your feet wide. You can turn the toes out so your toes point in the same line as your knees. Place your hands on your hips and come down to press into the inner thighs. Thank you, Susie. And then bring your gaze down towards the floor, since you don't need to have the gaze forward or the chin lifted. And now see if you can take your submarine breath into the back waist on both sides. So this submarine is centrally located in the low abdomen, and you're kind of gazing about in the ocean of the low body, finding out what's present there in the back waist. Right side, left side, the central aspect. Now keeping your left arm and left leg stable, please twist to your right. You can turn and look over your right shoulder, and you can even let the left shoulder kind of come down a bit towards the floor. Imagine the right shoulder eventually perhaps someday stacking over the left shoulder. And bring your submarine breath, your awareness and inquiry into the left lower back and the left side of the waist. And try to really expand between the top of your sacrum on the left side and up into your left floating ribs. And then when you exhale, please come to center, and we'll go to the other side. So you're going to twist to your left. And again, though if we think of the twist as being about the upper back and the head, you can close your eyes. And with the eyes closed and the gaze inward, breathe into the right hemisphere of your lower back. As if you're a submarine, we're doing some investigation there, a little bit of study. Maybe there's some scientists in your submarine. And then please come back to center. Press into both feet, and as you rise up to standing, make your feet parallel and come down to Prasarita Padottanasana. And as we did yesterday, I'm going to ask you to walk your fingers forward in Prasarita Padottanasana. And as you relax your head, let it rest between your upper arms. And then please start counting the breath. We did this practice yesterday where I'm going to ask you to inhale and count the breath lightly. And do the same for the exhale. We're looking to find out, can you balance your inhale with your exhale? And please do that one more time. So you're trying to balance the inhale with the exhale. Great, and then please shift your hands to your hips and rise up to standing. And step your feet together. Great, we're going to step into the sun salutation. So this is where I'm going to ask you to use 2 blocks to support your sun salutation. As with yesterday's practice, I'm going to be asking you to have a deep exhale using the low belly. So when we put the hands on the blocks for this kind of Uttanasana, like this, that allows us to press into the blocks to make the lower belly stronger in the exhale part there. So please bring your hands together at your heart. Root down into your heels. Energize your toes. And take your submarine mind down into the first third of the torso. And breathe into this region, the abdomen, the sacrum, the sides of your waist. And then let the breath also come into the mid-torso, the second third of the torso. And if possible, allow the breath to finally rise into the third region of the torso, the heart, including the back of the heart. Now inhale, sweep your hands down, wide and up. Then let's exhale and bow forward to Uttanasana so that as you touch the 2 blocks, you can use the strength of the low belly to further complete your exhale. Then inhale, glide forward through your heart. And do that once more. Exhale to bow towards your legs. Press into the 2 blocks to make the deep low abdomen more toned. Now inhale, rise up, Urdhva Hastasana. We're going to add to our sequence here in a moment. And as you exhale, bring your hands down to your heart. Please try this as you inhale, first third of the breath, then arms wide, middle third, and then arms up, the upper third of the breath. And then exhale and bow forward and down to Uttanasana. Now inhale, glide the heart forward, first third of the breath, middle third, upper third. And exhale to bow towards your legs. Now place the two blocks aside and step backwards to downward dog pose. And in downward dog pose, I'm going to ask you again to see if you can explore the first third of the breath, the middle third, and then the upper third of the breath. Thank you, Susie. Yeah, so this requires patience and concentration. And when those unhelpful mental habits like urgency, irritation, frustration that I described earlier, when they're pushing up, it's often a sign that we're needing a little bit more patience, a little bit more concentration to come into the lucid capacity we have for being present. So using your focus and your patience, one more time, inhale, first third, middle third, and then upper third of the breath. Okay, great. Now let's inhale and come forward to plank pose. And Susie can come back to my video. We're going to exhale and come down through Chaturanga Dandasana onto the floor. Please point your toes. And now think of your cobra pose as having the 3/3 of the breath, lower, middle, upper. And on the inhale, it's low third, middle third, and then the upper third of the breath. And then we exhale and roll down, slide the shoulders back. This is called pranam when you roll down like this. And then inhale, first third, middle third. Bring the breath up to the upper third of the breath. And exhale to roll down. A couple times more. So we're massaging the spine and the organs in the abdomen. So inhale, low third, middle third, upper third. And exhale to roll down. Tone the deep low belly as you complete the exhale. Now last one. Inhale, low third, mid third, upper third. And exhale to glide down. And then curl your toes under and press back up to plank pose. And then reach backwards to downward facing dog pose. And Susie can go to Christine's video. So in downward dog, now you've just exercised the lungs quite a bit. So take your time watching how your body can re-invite this balanced inhale and balanced exhale. It may not be the first breath cycle, it may not be the second, but as you think, inhale, first third, middle third, upper third, maybe you count that in 3 equal parts of 3. So your breath on the inhale might be 9. That means on your exhale, the breath may be 9 counts. For some others, maybe you're working at a 2 count for each third of the torso. So your total inhale would be 6. And your exhale would be for 6. Okay, nice job. Now I'm going to ask you to step your right foot forward between your hands. And bring your 2 blocks onto your mat. Straighten your left leg behind you. And then inhale, rise up to your crescent lunge pose. Good. And I'm going to ask Susie to go to Christine's video and for Christine to go to a profile view. So put your right foot forward. Yeah, turn to your right. Thank you. Yeah, thanks so much. Okay, so with the right foot forward and the left foot back, this crescent lunge pose. Now on the inhale, press down into your right footprint and straighten your right leg so the whole pose goes up. And then exhale and bend your right knee so the whole pose becomes more grounded. Great, let's do that again. Inhale so the pose goes up. Notice the space you can make in the inner body. Then exhale, bend your right knee as if the body were the waves of the ocean and this little submarine is inside. We're going to inhale, straighten the right leg, explore the back of your waist. Then exhale, bend your right knee. Now take the arms wide like an airplane. And when you come forward, touch both blocks with your hands. If you have only one block, place it under your left hand. And place that block and your left hand now firmly. Take your right hand to your right knee. And please twist your lower belly to your right. Susie can come to my camera for a moment. So when we're twisting to the right and the low belly is getting this little massage, you're close to your right thigh. So the pose has a little bit of compression. Take the breath again in the back hemisphere on the left side of your body. Let the submarine explore the left lower back. You may choose to raise your right arm up in the twist, but that might lessen the amount of leverage you have for the twist. So you could also choose to keep your right hand on your right knee. And take a deep breath into the left low back. And then when you exhale, unwind and face the floor once again. Step backwards to your dog pose. You could use your blocks for your hands if you like. We'll go back to Christine's video. And then exhale, step your left foot forward between your hands. Root down into your left heel and rise up to your crescent lunge pose. And when you're coming up, again, establish your left heel and toes. And then inhale, straighten your left leg. So the whole pose goes up like the ocean just had a little current. Then exhale, bend your left knee. Good, very good. Inhale to glide up, straighten your left leg. And exhale, bend your left knee without losing any laxity or anything in the right leg. One more time, inhale to go up, straighten your left leg. And then exhale, bend your left knee. Bring your arms wide like an airplane. And as you come over, touch the two blocks and place your right hand directly under your right shoulder, left hand to your left knee. Please twist to your left. And as you're twisting left, you can close the eyes and put your mind, your little submarine mind, into your right lower back. The top of the right side of the sacrum, the right kidney, and you might choose to lift your left arm as a celebration in the pose. If that lessens your leverage for twisting, you could also keep your left hand on your left knee. And then we're going to exhale, release from this twist. And using both hands on your blocks, please inhale, step forward, glide your heart forward. And exhale to bow deeply towards your legs. Use the force of your hands on the blocks to help more completely exhale. Good. Then inhale, rise up. First third of the breath, middle third, upper third of the breath. And then exhale your hands to your heart. And pause right there. Just to sense like what's happening now inside. And we're going to add a different kind of twist to the sun salutation. So inhale your hands down and do first third, arms wide, middle third, upper third of the breath. And then exhale, bow forward. You're coming down to Uttanasana. Okay, inhale, glide forward. Raise your gaze forward. Exhale, step backwards, downward facing dog. Please put the blocks aside. Notice what you can do here to make your inhale breath and your exhale breath equal. Listen for the ujjayi sound in the inner ear, which can sound like the ocean in a seashell. And imagine the submarine in this ocean. When inhale equals exhale, that ocean is more calm. On your next inhale, please come forward to plank pose. We'll stay with Christine's video. Thank you, Susie. And then exhale to Chaturanga Dandasana. We're going to do our cobra pose again. Please come onto your stomach, point your toes. Beautiful. And then inhale, first third, middle third, upper third of the breath, cobra pose. And exhale slowly down as if the ocean were very tranquil, in no particular hurry. Please do that 3 times more. Inhale to rise up. This is a massage for the organs in your abdomen. It's also a massage for your spine. As with all massages, it's helpful to kind of luxuriate in, to deeply appreciate what is happening. And I have one more after this one, so take your time. Listen for the ocean sound of the breath in the inner ear and sense the ocean of the inner body where the submarine gets to explore. Good, good. Yeah, very nice. And then exhale and roll that one down. Please curl your toes under. Great, press up to plank pose. And in plank pose, let's stay a few moments and explore the width, the broadness that you can make at the back hemisphere of the waist. I believe in your practice. I know most everybody who's on the call, and I know you don't need to sag in your plank pose in your lower back. You could imagine the submarine in that ocean is just surfacing a bit, and the surface of the water is the back waist. So you want that to fill up with the breath. Good. And then let's take it backwards to downward facing dog pose. And with an exhale, step your right foot forward between your hands. And Christine, you can stay facing forward this time. Susie's going to come to my video for this one. Okay, so on the inhale, we will rise up as we did last time. Make it a full celebration. And then I'd like you to exhale and come over to airplane pose. Okay, so in this position now, place your hands down. And instead of having the experience where it's so linear like this in this direction, we're going to turn the right foot out. We're going to walk the left hand to the left so that this little diagonal between the left arm and the right thigh is where you twist now. So this is a much more free twist, a lot more space for this twist. Nice, very good, you guys. You can go to Christine's video if you like. So this more spacious experience of the twist means that, Christine, you can take your left hand even more to your left onto your block. Yeah. So what it means is that you've got this like open sail chest. Don't forget about the left lower back and the left side waist. Take a deep breath into the back waist as if that were a parachute you were filling up. And then on the exhale, let the torso and the heart be like a sail on a ship and open beautifully. Okay, with your inhale, fill up the parachute of the left lower back. And then exhale, open the chest and the heart like a sail on a ship. Let's do that one more time. Susie can come to my video. So we fill up the parachute, and then we're going to exhale to open the chest and the heart. And the pose has a little rhythm to it. And now we're going to release down, take the 2 blocks, make your front foot parallel again, and step backwards to your downward facing dog pose. You might use the blocks to make the transition easier. Okay, and then please step your left foot forward between your hands. Press firmly into your left heel. Inhale, rise up, crescent lunge. Nice job, good. Exhale, arms wide. At first you come down. Touch the 2 blocks, move the left block aside so you can turn your left foot out on the diagonal. Walk the block under your right hand to the right. And check you've got these two diagonals here to play with. And then rotate your chest and your heart. And raise your left arm. Now keep the right leg strong behind you. And as you inhale, imagine the right lower back like a parachute that you are filling up. And then the exhale to open the chest and the heart like a sail on a ship. And the inhale like a parachute. And the exhale like a sail. One more time, inhale, more like a parachute, fill up the back of the body. And then exhale like a sail on a ship. And then release and rotate your left foot to be parallel. Step your left block and your right block back in. And please step backwards to downward facing dog pose. Now from downward dog pose, I'm going to ask you to touch your knees down and go back into child's pose for a few moments and let that get very restful in child's pose. So you just had your ocean, your parachute, your sail. Let everything rest. So what happens as we stir the inner body is that sometimes we get to stir up both the beneficial, auspicious, and beautiful qualities of human nature. So they rise to the surface. And we also get to stir up some of the difficult qualities. We might even see ourselves right there on our yoga mat being impatient or judgmental or finding fault with ourselves or other things, like the temperature of the room, or finding fault with something on your big toe. We come down to rest, knowing that we stir things up in yoga practice for the purpose of healing and transforming. And I'm going to ask you to walk your hands back towards your knees. And please watch here, we're going to change the twist now. So I have a rolled blanket here. And Susie, thank you, Susie. When you roll a blanket, roll it smoothly. Particularly for right now, we want the center of this blanket to be smooth. And this is going to be for one knee as I step into Anjaneyasana. So the left knee goes on the blanket. It's actually my left shin. So the kneecap of the left foot is not even touching the floor. This is a way to help some of you with the kneecap issues that you've been asking me about. So your kneecap does not need to touch the floor now, because you have support under your shin. Okay. And then let the hips come forward. Good. And then please watch me before you proceed. So there are several versions of this twist, and we're going to do one that's a little bit downward. So to do that, I'm going to put this block here for my left elbow, and then this block here for my left hand. And the right hand comes to the knee, so that when I'm twisting to my right, I really am thinking about the left lower back and the left side of the waist. So having the elbow down here on my little elbow desk or elbow patio thing, that does change the dynamic in the pose and where you'll feel it in the spine. Let's go to Christine's video. Thank you. Yeah. So even for some of you, if you have only one block, it's totally fine. You put your left elbow on the block and you can hold your right ankle if you want to. Maybe it's close enough. And with your right hand there on your knee, we're really looking at how can we have the breath come into the left lower back with some of the compression of your right thigh against your abdomen. And now press down onto your right hand, onto your right knee. Bring your left hand back to your block. And the second right hand back to its block, and step your right shin backwards. And then step your left shin forward, and we'll do the other side. So you get to have your kneecap free from the burden of pressure because you've got the rolled blanket under your left shin, right shin now, excuse me. So allow the hips to ease forward. You might be saying good morning to your hip flexors. And then we'll place the right elbow down on the block. And the left hand goes on the left knee. Some of you might find that since you have only one block, it's totally fine to have just one, that you are holding your left ankle with your right hand. And we allow the right side of the torso to kind of melt towards the floor. Let the breath and the ocean and the submarine come back into your awareness there. And then as you exhale, please release and place your left hand on the block, right hand on the block, and step backwards, both shins on the blanket. Then take your block like this, called Zazen, and place it under the back of your hips. Scoot your blanket out of the way and come to sitting in Virasana, also called Zazen. So you're sitting like you're having Zen meditation. You may close your eyes and take your mental submarine down into the body. No need to work on the breath right now. Just watch your body from the inside, having this echo of the twisting poses. Listen for the possibility that between the unskillful aspects of human nature and the skillful aspects of human nature, you have the inner discernment and wisdom to know which one to choose in yourself. And while you're up right now, I'd like you to explore the pranayama. So if you would like, you can put one hand on the lower belly, one hand on the solar plexus. You have to move the bottom hand up to the heart to practice this. You're going to be inhaling first third, middle third, upper third, and then we exhale from the first third. So let's try that a couple times. Inhale, lowest third, middle third, upper third. And then exhale from the lowest third of the belly, toning just right up to your solar plexus. Good. Try that again. Inhale, low third, middle third, and upper third. And you exhale from the low third of the abdomen. And please do that once more in your timing. This does take time to develop, so be thoughtful with yourself. You do not need the unskillful aspects of human nature discussing your efforts and your outcomes right now. Rather, you can see yourself making a beautiful effort. And please release both hands to your lap. Now I'm going to explore with you a twisting pose that we haven't done before. So I'm going to ask Susie to come to my viewing screen. So I'm going to need my rolled yoga blanket, and I'll show you. This is going to go under both knees. So when it goes under the knees, it's actually going to be setting us up for a twisting pose we're going to do in child's pose. I'm going to put mine sideways like this. I do need my blocks, so I prepare those. And I want this blanket under my knees. so that my child's pose is going to have the hips resting more completely towards my heels. And then when I come down, the left forearm is going to go on the floor and the right hand goes on a block nearby. So there's my left forearm. You can see that now. And I put my left elbow just for now under my left shoulder, but you're going to see that will travel. So when I place the right hand here, now I'm going to twist the upper back to the right. That is the beginning of our twist. Okay, so I do want you to have your hips be snug to your heels. I want this compression of your thighs against your abdomen, and then for you to twist and stay in relationship with that compression. Press firmly down with your right hand against your block. Rotate your right shoulder a little bit back behind your heart like you would in Cobra. And allow the left lower belly to receive your attention. Left lower back, left sideways, so the submarine goes back down. Please take a couple more breaths. I'm going to ask Susie to stay with my camera because I'm going to change my view so that you guys can see what happens next in this twist. It's a small change, but an important one. So the next phase of the twist, I'm going to turn my block up to the tall setting, and I'm going to pick up my left elbow and walk it towards the block. So it's about halfway there. Now the left knee is between the two, the left elbow is between the two knees. And then you're going to be pressing down with the right hand. As you twist to your right, breathe into your left lower back, left back waist, the left kidney. And if you have the flexibility for it and the breathability for it, you can now move your left elbow closer to the purple block so it's in front of your right knee. So this is changing the inner experience of the breath and the belly and the submarine. Notice what your mind habits are when the abdomen feels compressed and you're working on twisting. And then press down into your right hand against the block. Walk your left hand back somewhere near your left knee and rise up to kneeling. Notice the two hemispheres at the back, right? It's very different, the experience you're having. And we're going to go to the other side with Christine's video. So you can come down onto your left forearm and place the block, right forearm, place the block under your left hand. And so you start with the right forearm on the floor because that's going to allow you to have like a stable base, and then press into the block under your left hand and twist your left shoulder, rolling it back like you would in Cobra pose. Yeah, very good. Nice job. I know it's not always easy to feel into what is happening in this region of the body, but these twists are compressive. I'm being purposeful with you because the third chakra will turn to those fiery, unhelpful mental attitudes when it feels compressed, oppressed, suppressed, or repressed. So right now, remind your third chakra and your inner body that you're doing this on purpose, and see if you can bring the most beautiful qualities of mind, the absence of fault finding, the absence of clinging, the absence of grasping. We'll take our twist a little deeper for those who want to. So you put the tall block under your left hand now. Pick up your right elbow and center it between the knees, on the floor, but between the knees. And then twist again to your left. And in this twisting, you might start to sense how like the right side of the belly can drape down towards the floor. And the left upper quadrant of the body is still kind of like that sail on the ship. But your submarine has to go down into the ocean right now to investigate how can we make The most beautiful qualities of human nature available to ourselves. They're already in there. We do not want them to be crowded out by the seeds of frustration or irritation or impatience. So if you'd like to go a little deeper in the twist, you're going to move your right elbow to be in front of your left knee. When I do that, my right hand goes onto my left hand on the high point on the block. And listen for how your body is responding when you're in a twist that has this much compression. We're talking about compression of the abdomen and the organs, not compression of the spine. And then as you exhale, rotate around to face forward and rise up. Notice the two hemispheres of the back. And so the Anjaneyasana twist that we did in that lunge pose with the knee on the floor, and then this one, they are similar. Now we're going to take Anjaneyasana like an open sail on a ship. So you can watch me for a moment. I'll take the two blocks again to the front of my mat. The left knee goes on the blanket, so the shin is there. And that means that the left kneecap is actually not on the blanket. And the hips do come forward. And I'm going to walk the left block to the left on this diagonal and walk the right foot out to the right on a diagonal. And then you press into the right knee and you open the chest like you're doing Cobra Pose. And then you can raise the right arm like a celebration, like so much freedom, right? So much freedom. So press down into your left arm for strength. And as you raise the right arm high, just picture, how you'd most like to express the better qualities of human nature in your own life, in your breath, in your speech, in your actions, in your relationships. And take a deep breath in to the low belly. And when you exhale, rotate down to face towards your right foot. Place both hands on the blocks, bring them back into view, and now curl the left toes under, and please straighten both legs. So this is called Parsvottanasana. And let's walk the hands forward in Parsvottanasana like this, and bow the torso over your right leg. Now everyone has different hamstrings, of course, and most of you who know me know that I have very limber hamstrings. It came with the package of my genetics. That's not everyone's experience, and that is okay. But I would like you to breathe into what your experience directly is. Breathe in with respect. Notice the mind quality that you can bring to your pose right now. The absence of greed, the absence of clinging, the absence of craving, the absence of grasping, the absence of fault-finding, the absence of anger, the absence of harm. And keeping the legs stable, and the back heel is currently lifted. So with your balance, walk your hands back so that they're underneath your shoulders. And Susie can come to my video. I'm going to ask you guys to turn the left heel down so it lines up with your right heel. And then please watch, I'm going to walk both blocks in. So now I have the torso on this diagonal that I was using before. And I want to press into my right hand, the support hand. So this twist is for the upper body. The lower body twists very little here because of the shape of the pelvis, legs, and feet. And if you notice, one thing I have to do here, and I'll just say this, then we'll do it together. Watch where my right hand and arm are here in the beginning. And then I have to press down, and then I'm rolling back. So my right hand is further to the east than my right shoulder is. So I'd like you to explore that, and we'll go to Christine's video because I'll watch the students while she does her best with the pose. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so what you're doing is looking for the back bend of the heart and the twist of the thoracic spine. So you're doing great, you guys. Keep the pelvis stable and the legs strong. And the breath deep and nourishing in the low belly. Even in spite of this being a chest and heart opening twist, we do want to keep resourcing the ocean of the low body, pelvis, second chakra, back waist. Good, beautiful. And then let's exhale and unwind from there and put your 2 blocks on either side of your right foot again. And then step backwards so you can change sides. You'll want your blanket to be now for your right shin. And you'll step the left foot forward to Anjaneyasana. Yeah, so nice to see you. And thank you, Christine, for sharing your practice. It's really helpful for me to be able to see the students. And I know these are variations, we don't do them that often, so you guys are finding your own improvisation right now. It's very nice. So we want the hips to come forward. There is a hip flexor stretch here. And then you're going to be turning your left foot out on a diagonal, like this. And the right hand and block go on a diagonal, like this. And then you can press into the left knee to open. So this is a back bend pose. It's a celebration pose. You may raise your left arm high. Yeah, beautiful, you guys. So you want to breathe into the body like you are the wind in the sail and you are the sail. And this is to express the best qualities of human nature from yourself. Those finest qualities of human nature that are also in you. Keep bringing the breath down to the low abdomen. That is your greatest resource. And then as you next exhale, unwind and bring both blocks and your left foot back forward. Okay, let's curl the right toes under and pick up your hips, straighten both legs. We get to bow over the left hamstrings. This might be a chance for some of us to practice humility. And I mean that even if you're super flexible, we don't have to go into pride and conceit. And if you are not very limber in your hamstrings, fault finding will not make your hamstrings more limber. So we say the absence of conceit, also the absence of deceit, but the absence of conceit, the absence of pride, the absence of arrogance, but also the absence of fault finding, the absence of judgment. Can we just be in the experience? And perhaps just being, but maybe also bringing patience, appreciation, recognizing the courage it is to practice yoga. And one more breath in. And then walk your hands back so they're underneath your shoulders with your blocks. Pivot your right heel down to the floor so you're more stable. Susie can come to my camera. Thank you, honey. And then walk the blocks to the diagonal. Now, keeping the outer left hip strong and this line through the left leg also stable. Press into the block under your left hand, right hand to your right hip. Think of cobra pose and twisting in the upper back. And then as we raise the right arm high, notice that the left hand for me is further west than my left shoulder is. So the twist does start with the left arm vertical to the shoulder, but then there is this leaning back quality as if the sail were being blown by the beautiful ocean breeze. And imagine again the qualities of heart and human nature that you would most want to be expressing. And then with your exhale, begin the journey down. Take both blocks and bracket your left foot. Pick up your right heel. Step backwards, please, to downward facing dog pose. Roll your knees forward and down to your blankets, which is to say your shins. And using one block, please come down to child's pose. And let the knees separate so it's easier to have the breath go into the lower belly. Notice what can happen here when you let the low belly just be the low belly. Like an inner ocean. Right now the submarine is calm. Nothing to do. Having the blankets under the shins for child's pose does help the hips to descend a little bit heavier. Please walk your hands back towards your knees and rise up to kneeling. You could take your block to sit in Zazen, or we call it also Virasana. And this is a good time to let everything settle once more, to feel the central channel of the spine and the body. You're welcome to close your eyes. Notice what's present and the quality of mind you can bring to what is present. You don't have to practice anything with the breath right now. The breath will take care of you. When things feel like they've settled, then we're going to do the three-part breathing again. Remember, it's first third, the lowest, middle third, and then the upper third in 3 equal parts. And then that same length for the exhale. And so at your own pace, you're just going to be watching from the inside. This does require advanced planning, so you're not out of breath before you get to the upper third of the breath. So in your own pace, your inhale might be 3, 3, and 3. Then your exhale will be 9. For some of you who are more experienced, your inhale might be 4, 4, and 4. Then your exhale is 12. And for those who are still building your practice, the inhale might be 2, 2, and 2. And the exhale is 6. Please do it one more time. And then rest your hands, palms face down in your lap. We have one more twist to come to this morning. That's quite unusual. But I want you right now to rest and to notice the quality of the mind, the ocean of the belly. And let's imagine that inside the submarine, it's not only scientists there discovering what's happening in the ocean. You've also brought your personal Dalai Lama, so he is able to see the human condition expressed in you, through you, but not as you. Whatever your twisting practice is bringing to the surface, we see through the lens of compassion, curiosity, and kindness. Only when we're able to see the stuff of human nature can we be in relationship with it and then cultivate skillful means in that relationship. I'm going to ask you to watch me for the final twist. Thank you, Susie, for having my video on. Yeah, I'm going to show you this twist to my right, which I'm calling to the west in my case. And the back of the left hand is going to be coming under the right knee. There's going to be a couple nuances that happen here. First, let me say that I in no way have long limbs and a short torso. I'm not like my teacher, one of my former teachers, Richard Freeman, who's no longer teaching so much in the public. He had very long arms and he had a small torso, short torso, and he could just place his hand right under there. That's not my experience. So what we're going to be doing is picking up the right knee, and you place the left hand underneath. Yes, many of you are going to feel that your wrist is stretching right here. Please watch the pose for a few moments so you can see and not have to turn your head back towards the pose later. So once I get that positioned, I am going to allow myself to roll so that my right outer hip is coming down towards the floor. And the right hand on the block is going to twist the upper back to the right. So in this twist, the right outer hip may eventually find the floor, maybe it won't. I would like your right hand to be elevated. You can use the medium height for the block or the tall height. And as you're twisting the upper body to your right, we're really trying to get into some of the regions in the lobes of the lungs that we don't explore very much. Okay, so is it clear enough from this angle, or should I do it from this side also? You have a sense? Okay, you can see it on Christine. Yes, very nice. So let's put the block on the medium height, Christine, not on the flat setting. And that's because I want there to be a little bit more distance for your right shoulder higher from the floor and your right hip hopping to find the floor by a release that comes from the inner body, not by being too close to the floor to begin. And it's not the case that all of us are going to have the right hip find the floor. Some of us that will not happen. So Susie, I put my view back on profile, so I turned sideways if people need to see it that way. So as the hips come down towards the floor, they don't need to reach, but as they do, you've shifted your hips sideways of your heels. So twisting your upper body to your right. If you feel like your pose is melting beautifully and you'd like to, you can raise the block under your right hand to be higher. The head has no particular assignment here. You can explore that as you would like to. And then please roll that back to center. You're going to be centered with your hips over your heels. The knees are pointing straight ahead. I'm going to move my block to the other side. And I did start with my block on the medium setting, but I ended it on the tall setting. So take the back of the right hand around and under the left knee, like this. And then you slowly, keeping the left arm straight, you slowly shift your hips down while twisting the upper body to your left. And you can gaze down towards your right knee if you like, or you can improvise with your head. Let the lower belly kind of swoosh across your lap over your left thigh, rotating the left low belly to the left. And for anybody who'd like to, you could have your block go on the tall setting under your left hand. And it's going to add a different dimension to the twist because it makes the left upper quadrant of the body a little bit higher. And then please press down into your block with your left hand, whether it's high or medium, and rotate yourself back to center, upright. Oh my goodness, how was that? It's an unusual twist, I know. We haven't done it that often. Let's now please take this rolled blanket that you've been using. Just check that it's snug enough. I'm going to roll mine up once more there. Place it down the length of your mat. Put your block within reach, please. Sit in front of, but not on, your blanket. And then lie backwards. Okay. And you're going to reach for the block to put it on the flat setting under your head, please, like this. And tuck the shoulder blades in towards the heart. And let the palms turn up. And for your gaze to go down and in. So the blanket supports you first at the top of your sacrum. That means that your lumbar spine should be feeling the blanket, as should the mid-back spine, the upper back spine, and the cervical spine too. And Susie can go to Christine's video. And for those of you who also have an eye pillow, what a wonderful thing. Or, if you like, you can use the sweatshirt sleeve. You can use a shawl or a blanket. And I'm going to ask you to place your attention at the solar plexus, which is the center for the third chakra. And imagine here that the twisting and the heating and the intent for suppleness in the body, that this has offered a chance for some resolution of the difficulties at the third chakra and a revival of the beauties that can happen at the third chakra. I'd like you to see the melting of those sort of congealed emotions like frustration, irritation, or urgency. Imagine those things melting. And that in that melting, instead of a congealed sort of amalgamation of emotions, you then have this capacity to see more clearly. Your view is less blocked, less obscured. You can just moment to moment have this prayer that the fire element in you does not become volcanic. It isn't a brush fire. It isn't too hot or too sharp for yourself or others. And that rather you have access to your dharma, your personal purpose, your sense of contribution. You'll have access to leadership, inner leadership, a wise stewarding of your thoughts, your emotions, your life. So imagine the melting of the most congealed sorts of emotions, those ones that justify themselves, like frustration, irritation, urgency. when you're able to see clearly beneath the sharper emotions are these beautiful qualities: service, inner leadership, discernment. Om Namo Now, over the next few moments, you can lightly deepen your breathing and just sense where you are in the time-space continuum here. Then lightly wiggle your fingers and your toes. And please bend your knees. You can roll to your right side. And then use both hands to come up to sitting and take a comfortable seat for a few moments of meditative connection with each other. When you come up, allow yourself to sit very still. You've earned this beautiful opportunity to feel inside the most beautiful qualities of human nature. When the turbulence of the mind has been dissipated and the ocean of our shared capacity, our shared potential, when that is felt. Allow yourself not only to sense this as a shared experience, but also your contribution to it, that you too are here, contributing to the ocean of everyone else's experience. And please bring your hands together at your heart. So we have the last line in the chant that we began class with says, may we not succumb to animosity, to impatience or hatred. We say, ma vidvisha vahai, dvesha, ma vidvesha vahai. Dvesha means aversion. Ma vidvesha vahai. Let's sing that together, please. Ma vidvesha vahai. Om Shanti Om. Thank you very much, everyone. Now you have the thumbs touch the heart like this, your heart. We bow the head to the heart. The thumbs touch the 6th chakra, the space between the eyes. And then we say, may we remember each person in front of us for a long time to come. And we bring that back down to the heart. And then I make an offering. May our hearts go outwards to those who are in need right now. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. I want to thank Susie for co-hosting, navigating, Christine for sharing her practice, so helpful. Those of you who are asking about the online retreat, yes, there is still space. It's next weekend, begins on Friday. And a very special announcement, if you can stay for a minute so I can share this news with you. The women's facility here in Oregon, the women's prison, has no known cases of COVID-19 in the resident population, and no known cases in the officer and administrative population. They have kept a segregation of which staff are working and which ones are not working right now. And they have asked me to make one of 2 TV channels that they're sending into the prison. One is a COVID-19 educational channel for the residents, so that when they get the actual news, rather than sometimes they speak to family members who are having misinformation, then the resident population gets extremely anxious. So the second TV channel is going to be a yoga and mindfulness channel for the women to have the TVs in their cells and in the day rooms of the units. We'll get to have access to a mindfulness list of practices and a practice of breathing and yoga also. So I'm working on making a yoga TV channel that's okay for prison, which means I won't sing so much right in Sanskrit because some people will feel confused by that. And the space I'm teaching from will have to be neutral, and the language from very, very beginning, never done any mindfulness or yoga, up to the dedicated decades of yoga some women have been doing while they're at medium security facilities. So that's my celebration news this weekend. It was just authorized on Thursday, so
I feel quite excited, and I wanted to share that with people just beyond the 2 people who live in my house. So thanks for sharing your enthusiasm for that work. Yeah. And we can stay for a bit now to visit if you guys would like to. I have the time to be with you. And I always enjoy hearing how you hear the